Hi, hello everyone. And finally, we have finished the chapter of a nervous system. Now, this is a new chapter. And this chapter should be a combine of a skeletal system and a muscular system, because both of those together support not only give a structural support, but also support the motion of the human body. Yeah, in some cases, in some book, it also called it skeletal muscular system, something like that. And then there's another name not very often being used, called supported system. And so I use a supported system to start this whole chapter. And also I want to use this system to try to say, I'm not sure there's any, like, say, commonly everybody agree with this thing, but I want to describe some tissues that are along the evolution that different species have evolved to provide the say structural support. For example, if you remember, we have talked about uh, uh, six kingdom: bacteria, archaea, protist, plant, fungi, and animal. This six kingdom, all of those are unicellular organism. So for them, it probably not I mean, they still have something to support their body, but they don't really need a very strong supporting system. So, and then a supporting system mainly apply to this one. And for them, some of those grow larger, taller, and some of those are smaller. And what's most challenging is that, for example, a fungi, say, can this is a forest. The fungi can uh, say stretch out in miles, but still they are flat. They stay in the soil. So in this case, it is not very challenging to the support system for the fungi to go flat, even though they can go very big. And then in some cases, some species can grow very big in the ocean. It's also not very challenging because ocean, the water, provide a support. And the most challenging is that the tree. See, the big tree grow tall on land, and then a big mammals. So basically, these two species, the big tree and big mammals, they have the most advanced supporting system to support them to grow tall, not big, not only big, grow tall on land, not in the ocean. And in the next, so in the first chapter, basically I'm going to introduce the different supporting system that are being used by different species. Let's start with the plant. Again, the plant is one of the species, one of the two species can grow tall, but not every plant. Particularly call it vascular plants. Vascular plants are those plants that can transport water from the soil to the top. This is the tree, this tree trunk, and then this is soil, and then the root. They can transport water up, and they have two types of transport outside. Okay, on this slide, for name, like xylem, something, and inside called xylem. Xylem going up, phylum going down, and this the top of the tree doing the photosynthesis produce the nutrient to be transported out. And in the center of the plant, have xylem to transport water out. And the supporting system is the xylem, because xylem has a special molecule called cellulose. Cellulose is the most abundant organic compounds in the world. Yeah, this is not only in plants, or it's in the world the most abundant organic compounds in the world, and for second abundant. Basically, cellulose, I think, is 10 times more than the second one. Second one is chitin. We'll talk about later. Chitin. So, and this xylem of the plant is mainly made of cellulose, and cellulose is the primary thing, and but cellulose bundles itself cannot attach to each other, so have hemicellulose to bind cellulose together, and cellulose and hemicellulose exist in almost all the plants that we eat. For example, if you eat spinach or you eat celery, any plant-based food actually eat some cellulose and hemicellulose. And these are, we cannot digest them, but they do not prevent the food from being digested. So we are okay. But anyone ever enjoy eating the wood? No one, because the wood is a little bit different. They have lignin. And the cellulose and hemicellulose further bind together or glue together by the lignin. This actually, they call it liginization, something like that. I'm not sure that is correct. And then this makes this lignin binding or liginization give the rigidity of the wood. It makes the wood super strong. And this is why the plant can go strong or go tall. And then the fungi, some fungi can, most of fungi actually grow horizontally, and some fungi can grow top. And you may eat them before. Mushrooms. Mushroom is like this. Beneath, well, the mushroom under the ground, they are actually just the fungi, call it hyphae. Fungi filament, and the top, this mushroom is a specialized organ of the fungi for the reproduction. And mushroom that can just go some tall, but not very tall. I'm not sure the tallest mushroom, how big they are. Probably 3 feet, 4 feet, not very long. And then they cannot grow long because their structure is not that great. Their structure is called chitin. Chitin, together they bind with, please read my slides. I forgot which they bound. In the fungi, I forgot which they bound, but mainly the structure is the chitin. And then, yeah, I think all we need to do is the chitin. But chitin, this thing is actually not only used in the mushroom, also there's a group of animals called arthropods. Arthropods are all of those animals we call exoskeleton and segmented body. What are those? Insects, spiders, and shrimps, crabs, lobsters, etc., etc. And their exoskeleton is made of chitin, and chitin plus proteins, and a little bit of difference. Insect spider mainly with chitin and this proteins. In the shrimp and the crabs, I'm not sure anyone, probably most of you have eat shrimp or crabs, but probably none of you eat insects. If you have eaten me, I ate a lot of insects when I was a child. So insects, the shells is much, say, softer or less tough than the shrimp and the crabs. One of the reasons is that they also have calcium carbonate. Then some insects, exoskeleton, also have the calcium carbonates, but overall the level of calcium carbonate is very low. And the more calcium carbonates, the tougher the exoskeleton is. And then which animal has more calcium carbonates? Another group animal called it mollusks. Mollusk. What is mollusk? Clam, snail, and clam. So I'm trying to draw a clam. It's something like this. Yeah. Good. This clam, for sure. I mean, I can crack the crab shell by my teeth, but I can never crack a clam shell by my teeth. This is much stronger. This is mainly calcium carbonate, and there's barely even no proteins, definitely no cells inside, and even barely any proteins inside. And so this shell has been specialized in protection. However, it becomes so heavy, it actually limited the motility of most of those mollusks. However, there's some mollusks are very agile, and also they are very advanced. Those, for example, octopus, squid. You can tell octopus and squid does not have shell, and their shell internalized into an internal bone, and sometimes call it cuttle bone, something. It's not real bone because there's no cells. We talk about what is the human bone, but the human bone is totally different than this one. It's mainly only a calcium carbonate, and so this is the and then you can tell that all of those grow very, very small. You cannot grow very big. So next, let's talk about the animals can really grow big. What kind of animals can grow really big? Vertebrates. We mentioned this word a lot. What is vertebrates? Vertebrates are all these animals with a spine, a backbone, and these are vertebrates. This backbone support the animals. They can grow tall on land. And then before we talk about vertebrates, we have to talk about another structure called a notochord. I believe many of you have heard of vertebrates or spine, but I don't think, probably none of you have heard this word, notochord. What is notochord? And this notochord is something like this, or just a rod-like structure. And this rod-like structure is in the outside, is sheath, enclosed by sheath cells. And this sheath is very tight. It holds the shape. And then inside, the big cells, a lot of big cells inside. And these cells, call it notochordal cells or vacuolized cells, something. That's big vacuole. I'm not sure you have learned the word vacuole before. In plant cells, say, this is and this is the cell wall, this plant cells, and this plant cell nuclei, and then the big, the majority of those is occupied we call it vacuole, and the vacuole is full of liquid, and is mainly existing in the plant cells, rarely exists in animal cells. And to the best of my knowledge, this notochordal cells is only type of the animal cells that can have a vacuole. And this, what's in the vacuole is liquid. First, it's a liquid. That's why I call it vacuole. And then what's in liquid? Glycan proteins. Glycan proteins. I mean, the liquid have high concentration of glycoproteins. And what glycan proteins can make it be? You may know what is mucus, right? Mucus, because in the mucus, why mucus is sticky? Because there's a lot of glycan proteins inside the mucus. And the glycan protein makes the liquid not just liquids. It makes a gel-like liquid. And in here, let's review this structure again. Outside the notochord, there's sheath cells, tightly and these are not flexible, tightly make the shape. They make the shape of the notochord. And inside, you have all of those vacuolized cells inside, full of a gel-like liquid. And this is something like I don't know how to pronounce anything in maybe like sausage. Yeah, actually, it's just like sausage, and but much stronger than the sausage. And then this provide a support, but also flexibility. It's different than many of those, most of the previous ones, because it also provides flexibility. Think about the strong crab shell, or actually plant cellulose have some level of flexibility, but especially compared to other animals, this flexibility is less. And then, so some animals do use a notochord as their mainly supported tissues, but very rare. This is called lanceolate. Lanceolate, I put a video in my slides. Please, you can view that video. Lanceolate is a very simple kind of ancient animal, which has no brain, no eye, no regular sense than we have, but it has a notochord. And lanceolate is probably the only among the few animals that still has notochord in their adulthood. And you can tell they are moving very, very, very fast. They have a very strong agility. And but why we talk about this, notochord actually also the signature of a group of animals called chordates. Chordates is a big phylum. In this phylum, there's also a subphylum called vertebrates. Vertebrates is a chordate. All vertebrates are chordates, and all chordates have notochords, but we do not. Do we have a notochord? Yes and no. We do not have notochords now, but when we are an embryo, we do have notochords. So notochords in human, it's a very important function in human embryos. Firstly, human embryo. There's a later in the not in this semester, next semester, because in my class we talk about this. In the human embryo, for all of those organs, what's the first showing up? The blood vessel. Blood vessel showing up in 15 to 16 days. And next, the notochord in 16 days. And then this is super important because notochord start to produce a molecule called SHH, sonic hedgehog. And I have explained why they have this is a funny name. But this sonic hedgehog, let's draw this again. Notochord produce sonic hedgehog. It induce something happen. Another thing happened here. This call it the nerve tube. The nerve tube later develop into the whole nervous system. Without the information of the notochord, SHH, no nervous system develop. No anything develop in the embryo. But notochord later disappear. And how this disappear? It becomes segmented. And this segmentation also is important to mediate different bones and muscles to be developed into different places. And this segmentation, the notochord does not really disappear. It just changes a different shape. This segmentation, one another segments become vertebrae. The notochord become the vertebrae, and then this one, they call it intervertebral disc. Yes. I discussed this in the spinal course. If you don't remember, please review the earlier section. So this one, basically, the notochord it disappeared, but I mean, you don't have a notochord in adulthood. It doesn't mean it's totally disappeared. That's because it become the vertebral column. That's the function of the notochord. And so, and then this vertebrae is bones, and this one is cartilage. In human, our skeletal system is made by cartilage plus the bone. And however, some animals like shark has only the vertebrae. Shark has only vertebrae, and a shark has jaws. And actually, the shark ancestor does have bones, but somehow they select evolution direction of developing having the solely cartilage skeletons without bones. But the overall, the shark ancestor have jaws first, so shark has jaws. Jaws is another very important skeletal evolution. They make the animal can expand the food range of this animal. So, and then let's talk about the cartilage. The cartilage, let's say this is the cartilage. If you remember in our lab, we observed that the cartilage tissues, they have the scattered cells called chondrocytes. And this is a very special, almost in the whole human body. To me, I cannot think of anything like this, because the cartilage has only one type of cells. There's a chondrocytes. And the chondrocytes stay in the cartilage and then be enclosed by the matrix. And what's in the matrix? Proteins, collagen, and proteoglycan. Proteoglycans are proteins that are highly rich in sugar, and proteoglycan attached to higher hyaluronic acid. Yeah. So and hyaluronic acid's function is to retain water. And then there's a lot of high amount of water in the cartilage, and it's very similar to the notochord actually, because the cartilage also sheathed by a very strong fibrous enclosure, and this fibrous protein layer is produced by the fibroblasts surrounding the cartilage, and in these cases you have a lot of water inside and the strong sheaths, they hold the shape. But however, you can tell the cartilage is not as strong as the bone for sure. So for animals with only cartilage, they do not have a strong skeletons as the animal with bones. And we can tell we don't have any bone cartilage based animals that stand up on land. I don't think there's anything on land they live with only cartilage skeleton. And so and also there are three types of cartilage. They call it elastic, hyaline, and fibral. And what's the major difference of these two is that elastic have high concentration of chondrocytes, and the fibral has high concentration of matrix. And the more hydrocytes, the more flexible, and the more matrix, the more tough or endure. So in these cases, actually they don't really have a huge difference. And elastic cartilage, for example, the ear, where is it? And epiglottis, they need some movement. And the fibral, the most very important is the thing we talk about, the intervertebral disc, and also the meniscus. The meniscus in the knee, not every meniscus. The knee meniscus has a fibral cartilage, and hyaline cartilage is the common. It's a balance of flexible and endurability. so it's most abundant. But knee means stick is the fibril cartilage. And now let's focus on knee meniscus. So the knee meniscus is a little bit different than all the rest of the cartilage. It's partially vascularized for some reason. I don't know. Because it really needs some level of regeneration. In most of those, have a very low regen capability. For all cartilage tissues, they regenerate very, very low, very, very low. And basically, for example, if you cut your ear, if you cut your cartilage, almost there's no way they can grow back. And the tearing, some of the tearing, even though they can grow back in a given year, but the cartilage actually still not going back. Only the epithelium, only the other tissues, like connective tissues, can grow back. And but for knee meniscus, because it has some blood vessels going there, from a minor injury, it can grow, it can regenerate by itself, heal by itself. But for a stronger say each knee has 2 meniscus, something like this. And just a small injury, again, it can say heal by itself. But if a longer or severe, like this, tear off, you can suture it back. But suture mainly used for a regular tear or not really bad. If it's really bad, it's something other to say is you have to do transplantation. And transplantation now using the donor, like the liver transplantation, like cornea transplantation, they use the cartilage from deceased donor. And some of the new research, very interesting, they acquired chondrocytes from the body's own tissue, and they kind of find some chondrocyte progenitor cells, and then they can grow them in vitro in the lab to grow new cartilage. And it's amazing. I hope it works. And also there's something you may have heard of called MSC, mesenchymal stromal cells. Some people also call it mesenchymal stem cells. Anyway, there's some evidence, a lot of evidence. Many people study MSC, showing that it can facilitate regeneration. And there's a clinical practice nowadays, just inject MSCs into the knee to help the regeneration. However, to the best of my knowledge, no MSC therapy has been approved by FDA yet because the evidence is not strong enough. So yeah, I mean, many people pay a lot of money to receive this treatment. Naturally, there's no guarantee. I'm not saying yes or no. I'm not saying it does not work. There's no strong evidence. We'll make sure that it works. And lastly, let's talk about the bone. The bone will be the major focus of the next topic. So in this class, we just mentioned a little bit about the bone. The bone also very similar to the matrix. It also has very similar to the cartilage and matrix and the cells. The matrix of bone is different though. It has collagen, and the other thing like hydroxyapatite. I'm not sure the spelling is correct. What is hydroxyapatite? It's made of this plus this. It's calcium. You know, a bone has a lot of calcium. The calcium makes it hard. So hydroxyapatite bind to collagen. This is a collagen. In collagen fiber, they align together. This is 1 unit of collagen fiber aligned together. It's so bad. I say collagen. And then this hydroxyapatite coming to glue two section of those two sections of collagen bundled together, and then glue another one. make it longer and longer. And then there's multiple layers. This layer, this direction, and then the other layer. So this layer, this direction, the other layer, that direction, and that direction. So each layer has different direction, making sure the bone can resist the stretch and pressure from different directions. So this is the matrix of the bone, mainly made of collagen and hydroxyapatite. And the cells, the most abundant cells in the bone, we call it osteocytes. Osteocytes, again, is very similar to the chondrocytes, is that is in the bone is separated it's scattered around, and they do not move because they are surrounded by the bone matrix. Let me see. But the difference is that, firstly, chondrocytes, in some cases, you do see two chondrocytes in the same location. But in the case of, because they are dividing, but osteocytes never divide. So osteocytes coming from osteoblast, which making the bone matrix, and then when the bone matrix, they make a one layer bone matrix, and then they just stay there, become converted into osteocytes. And osteoblast does not replicate either. These came from the osteogenic cells. These are stem cells keep generating osteoblast, and then osteoblast become osteocytes, making the matrix and become osteocytes. So one thing about the bone is that the bone is dynamic. Bone can heal. Collagen cannot, but bone can heal itself. That's a major difference. And then, because bone is not only can heal, but also can remodel. We'll talk about this in the next topic. Bone can even move around. It can change its shape. So, and also inside the bone, this osteocytes, the chondrocytes individually separate from each other. But osteocytes, they have this long tentacles called dendrites, reaching out to each other, and then this making each of the dendrocytes, each of the osteocytes are connected to each other, and then this is the layer. This is the layer of each layer is one layer matrix called lamella, and then the cells existing in between two layers. These cells are connected to each other, and eventually here in the center, this is called central canal. In the central canal, what do you have here? The blood vessels. You have blood in your bone, and the most inner layer of the osteocytes acquire nutrients from the blood and release waste to the blood, and then this one connect to the blood indirectly from here, and this one have multiple layers to connect the blood. Overall, all osteocytes in the bone are connected to the blood. The bone is very alive and also dynamic. And I think that's it. I think I covered everything in the topic. And have a good weekend. See you next time. Oh.